Two-faced, power-hungry, and obsessed with fame. These were the major revelations Republicans say emerged from the personal diary entries of Dr. Anthony Fauci. He then came under heavy fire on Wednesday by invoking the Fifth Amendment over 100 times during a contentious Senate hearing on Capitol Hill, refusing to answer any questions. But of course, Fauci's many apologists in the media painted a much different picture.
All of us owe our gratitude to Anthony Fauci, and many of us may owe our lives to Anthony Fauci. And Anthony Fauci owes nothing to Republicans in the United States Senate.
The Fauci thing, just sheer political theater. They shamed themselves. Some embarrassing performances. It was such a clown show.
Watching Anthony Fauci before a congressional hearing taking the Fifth Amendment is just one of the most heartbreaking things I have seen in government in my lifetime.
All right, now let's bring in our panel. TJ McCormick's a syndicated talk radio host and a Republican communications specialist, and April Chapman is the host of Unshakable with April Chapman and a Project 21 ambassador. April, what do you make of the sort of rewriting of how the conversation went with the Senate as it pertains to Fauci? Is it fake news?
If you want an example of what gaslighting and projection looks like, look no further than what you just witnessed from the lamestream media. Notice the standard. They've spent an enormous amount of time doing what I call narrative curation. They are creating a narrative that is trying to convince the American people that Fauci is a hero when so many of us, our lives were devastated by this man's lies and misrepresentation. Then on top of that, when Republicans investigate Democrats, they want you to believe that it's political theater. But when the Democrats have to investigate someone, they're protecting democracy.
Right. And the Democrats, they all got up from that hearing very early on in the process. I mean, TJ, they really flipped the script here. We saw Joe Scarborough. He said it was actually the Republicans questioning that was embarrassing, not the answers of Anthony Fauci.
Yeah, no, listen, I had to get sober 21 years ago. I haven't heard this much denial since I showed up at my own intervention.
Okay, good for you.
And if I could have pleaded the Fifth that day, I'd have been Fauci times 10. Anyway, thank God I'm still alive today. Yes, no, it is a political theater. And you know what? What really gets me too is it's theater on the part of Republicans, just like April just said. And yet, at the same time, the Democrats, there wasn't one intellectually honest moment for any of them. There wasn't one intellectually honest moment outside of possibly Senator Fetterman, where somebody could have said something about maybe shutting down schools and stunting the social growth and physical well-being of young children who should have been socialized and in school and not masked. No, it was an embarrassing day on all sides for all of them.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Rosie O'Donnell, one of Trump's biggest fans, she was on a podcast hosted by Anna Navarro of The View, quite possibly setting herself up for a defamation lawsuit, actually, from none other than President Trump. Take a look at this.
When I saw he got the Republican nomination, I was positive that he would not win. We were not going to elect the man who led an insurrection against the United States, who's a convicted sexual rapist. You can't say rapist, you'll get in trouble. And I can't wait for that female reporter to shut him up the next time he says something. How about a right to his face? You pedophile. Who do you think you are? That's what I would say to him.
My goodness, April, she seems to have a lot of TDS. George Stephanopoulos said the same thing. ABC had to pay $16 million. Trump has never been convicted of rape. This was the E. Jean Carroll case where it was liable for sexual abuse. That is all. And the civil threshold is much lower than criminal. What do you think should happen to Rosie? She cannot seem to get President Trump out of her head.
The media culture here is astonishing because can you imagine if a conservative celebrity publicly called Barack Obama or Joe Biden a pedophile without evidence? There would be so much endless cable coverage demanding an apology, accusations of dangerous rhetoric. I hope that Rosie O'Donnell has a huge reserve of assets because I would sue the pants off of this woman. And instead, we have Hollywood leftists. They treat these statements as entertainment, knowing how it can lead to radicalization, such as examples of what happened to Charlie Kirk. We've normalized accusing political opponents of some of the worst crimes imaginable without evidence, and she should be held accountable for her words.
Yeah, there's no question. A lot of people have been saying this in Hollywood. I saw the Jack Reacher actor saying the same thing. Something needs to change, I would think.
Yeah, very harsh language there. April Chapman, TJ McCormick. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.